You may be seated. Please join me in the invocation. God of truth and knowledge, we give you thanks for the years of exploration and learning that have led to this moment of celebration. Bless these graduates as they now finish their time of study at BSC, and all of those who have encouraged and empowered them along the way. Walk with these graduates as they leave and move forward in life. Take away their anxiety and confusion of purpose. Strengthen their many talents and skills so that they may live as a blessing to others. Fill us all with your hope for the future. Amen.
Good morning and welcome to Birmingham Southern College. Today we're celebrating the end of 4 years of hard work and the departure from the community of Birmingham Southern students. We are celebrating a graduation. We're also celebrating a new beginning, the entrance into graduate schools, professional programs, or the job market. We're celebrating the entrance into the community of Birmingham Southern College alums. We're celebrating a commencement. I would like to acknowledge at this moment these graduates and their journey through a pandemic. A third of your college career was under the cloud of COVID-19. You adapted to mass social distancing, testing, and weeks of isolation. And you prevailed, and I congratulate you. There's no doubt that you will experience similar challenges at various times in your life ahead. When you do, just think back on this past year. You have what it takes to prevail again. Now, I would like to introduce Ms. DeLynn Zell, Chair of the Board of Trustees, who brings greetings from the board.
Good morning. On behalf of the Board of Trustees of Birmingham Southern College, I bring greetings to all who are here today and heartfelt congratulations to our graduates. This group of students has endured one of the most unique and challenging times in the history of academia. We also know you've had to deal with many unique and personal circumstances and with your families as it pertains to COVID-19. But despite these obstacles, they sit here today about to receive recognition for their hard work and embark upon the next chapter of their lives. Whether they're starting a career or heading to graduate school, I am confident that their time on the hilltop has prepared them to fulfill our mission of educating students who will live lives of significance. The best of luck to you all, and we look forward to seeing the impact you're going to make on the world. Thank you.
For over a decade, Birmingham Southern College has presented the Outstanding Educator of the Year Award to a faculty member who exemplifies our definition of an exceptional academic professional. These characteristics include excellence in teaching, active and ongoing scholarly endeavors, effective student advising, and dedication and service to the college, profession, and community. Each individual honored with the Outstanding Educator of the Year Award receives a stipend and serves as a speaker for the commencement at the end of the following academic year. This year's recipient joined BSC faculty in 1999. He is one of our own as his academic credentials include a BS from Birmingham Southern College and a PhD from Rice University. In nominating him for Educator of the Year, one of his colleagues noted that, quote, he is a rock star, end quote, in his field, and models for students the very definition of a lifelong learner. Another remark that as a result of his innovative teaching techniques, quote, our students don't just learn the academic content, they master a new approach to learning that benefits them for the rest of their academic careers. A third may have said it best with the following, quote, "He is a key member of the BSC community, a wonderful colleague, and above all else, a phenomenal teacher." Thus, it is with great pleasure that I present to you the 2020-21 Outstanding Educator of the Year Award to Dr. Dwayne Pontius, Professor of Physics. Dwayne, would you please stand for a well-deserved round of applause? Speaking of the Educator of the Year, Dr. Amy Cottrell, Professor of Religion, was last year's recipient of the Outstanding Educator of the Year Award and therefore serves as our commencement speaker this year. A member of the BSC faculty since 2007, Amy is recognized for efforts in creating a positive, generative classroom experience in which students feel supported as they wrestle with new and difficult ideas. Please join me in welcoming our 2021 commencement speaker, Professor Amy Cottrell.
I am truly honored to be here on this day of celebration. A college education is a momentous achievement. The list of what you have to celebrate is long. Challenging coursework, empowering self-realizations, friendships, deep engagement with ideas, authors, and artists that will take root and flourish over the years. This year, we have other things to celebrate. Our very lives, not the least of those. You are here, and that means something different this year than it would have even 2 years ago. You did incredible work this year in the midst of challenges that no one could have been fully prepared for. On behalf of everyone here at BSC, I want to congratulate you and all of the people who have supported you. Let's not forget them. You are here. We see the efforts that brought you here, and we celebrate you enthusiastically and without reservation. Considering the celebration that this day deserves, it is perhaps ironic that you have before you a commencement speaker who often studies and teaches about human suffering, trauma, violence in the Hebrew Scriptures, and even on occasion, apocalyptic books of the Jewish and Christian traditions. It occurred to me several times in writing this address that I am possibly the last person to invite to speak at a celebratory occasion such as this. But I learned something in writing this speech, because writing is learning, after all. In studying for years ancient texts about suffering and the collapse of meaningful reality, I've also been learning about how people survive those circumstances, physically, emotionally, and ethically. I thought of myself as a student of human suffering, but I think I am also a student of resilience and hope. That is a recent insight for me, and as you all have taught me to say, I am here for it. If we ever needed resilience and hope, it is now. So in writing this speech, I gave myself the small task of distilling what I have learned from my studies about suffering and hope to fit within the minutes that I have been given today. This will be a commencement address for 2021. It does no good to act as if this is a year like any other. I hope these words offer you support, encouragement, as our relationship with you changes, as you transition from student to graduate. The first thing that I've learned is that suffering and trauma must be acknowledged and remembered if hope is to be possible. Even on a day of celebration like this one, we bring with us the suffering of the year we've been through. Some of us have been sick, or lived with people who have been sick, or worried about people who might get sick. We've been fearful, and we have grieved the deaths of friends, family, members of our human family in our country and all over the world. Add to that the stressful and overwhelming political tensions and economic shifts in the nation and in the world that have very much impacted our individual and communal lives. Yet the anxiety of a global pandemic and intense political divisions are not the only causes of trauma that we have encountered. The realities of racism and white supremacy in our country have been an ongoing source of trauma, especially for Black people and people of color. We live in a country that is still gripped by racism, in which Black people and people of color do not live with the same expectations of safety, health, and protection as white people. Even on a day of celebration, and I would say especially on a day of celebration, we must acknowledge that. You have learned in your studies and in your life experience that you have the ability to hold complex emotions and stances together at once. Lament and joy, grief and celebration, appreciation and critique. And that is important, because what I have seen time and time again in the text that I study is that acknowledging the complicated truth is the beginning of hope. Telling the truth is, in fact, the necessary condition for hope. The second thing that I've learned about hope is that even though we often say, I feel hopeful or I do not feel hopeful, hope may not actually be a feeling, or not predominantly a feeling. What I've seen is that hope is more often an act of will, an ethical stance. We often have a pretty thin idea of hope, I think. The phrase, hope springs eternal, comes to mind, which makes it seem almost as if hope is inevitable, that it will always return, and it just happens. It springs eternally. My studies lead me to a very different conclusion, however. I think hope is work. It is a discipline. For example, in the Psalms, where I spend a lot of my time, the psalmist often decides to turn toward a future anticipation of comfort and joy, even when in the moment that feeling is not reality. The psalmist very often doesn't appear to feel hopeful. Rather, they decide to pivot themselves toward the possibility of something different in the future, even when they are in the depths of despair. This is important because feelings can't always be relied upon to crop up when we need them. You know this from personal experience, though I assume that in the last 4 years, you have had momentary encounters with creative inspiration in which you felt simply taken up by your reading, your research, your practice, such that your effort was barely noticeable. But those moments were not enough to get you here today. You had to develop habits, discipline, and persistence. In the past year, I have come back many times to a quotation from philosopher and social justice activist Angela Davis, who spent some of her childhood years just over there on Dynamite Hill. Davis said, "You have to act as if it were possible to radically transform the world, and you have to do it all the time." Davis captures the role of sheer willpower, a kind of stubborn and courageous commitment to something different. Acting as if it is possible to change the world is quite possibly more important than feeling like it is possible to change the world. The third thing that I've learned about hope is also reflected in Angela Davis's quotation. You have to act as if it is possible to transform the world, We have to act as if the world is capable of transformation long before we are certain that it is so. We have to act as if, which means we have to cultivate the power of imagination, be able to cultivate as if realities. This is tricky. This is a kind of imagination that is not about retreating into fanciful escapism or simply choosing to look on the bright side. Hope is not optimism. It is more like looking at the world the way it is and saying, yes, this is a mess. People are being hurt. And without looking away from that suffering, I can also envision the possibility of something better, more just, more compassionate. What I have seen in the text that I study is that the ability to imagine is a mechanism of survival and transformation. Hope, I think, relies on ethical imagination, being able to see what is and what is possible at the same time. I don't pretend this is easy. It certainly isn't for me. My powers of imagination are sometimes profoundly challenged. My ability to see the mess in the world, and maybe in myself, is much more developed than my powers of seeing the potential of that mess to be something else. In my studies, however, I often encounter people in the past who teach me to imagine in bold, outrageous ways that challenge my sense of what is possible in the world. 3rd century Rabbi Joshua ben Levi offered this instruction in imagination in his teaching about the value of every individual person. And this is how he said we should imagine the importance of every single person that we encounter. He said, "A procession of angels passes before each person, and the angels go before them, saying, 'Make way for the image of God.'" The rabbi invites us to an as-if world in which we are asked to meet every human being as if they are a refraction of what is most sacred, precious, and treasured to us. The first time I read this invitation from the rabbi, I was frankly shocked, both by the ethical implications of the image and by the simple truth that I don't always hear angels singing the presence of every single human being. Not even close. But what if I did? What if I could? What possibilities would unfold? Rabbi Ben Levi's invitation is to engage our ethically capacious imaginations, to proceed as if human beings are sacred, even when we struggle mightily to see that facet of every human person. Cultivating imagination is itself a hopeful action, one that changes our habits of perception and opens up possibilities that are often hidden by our fears, anxieties, and wounds. Finally, I would like to talk about the word for hope in Hebrew, tikva. Hebrew words often have a concrete image at their root, and the word for hope in Hebrew is related to the word for a cord or a rope, kava. In the Hebrew worldview, it seems that the concept of hope is a means of tying one thing to another. Hope is a means of connection. Hope is a cord. I find this instructive, especially when the injustices of our world are before us. To concentrate on the possibility of hope might seem impossibly naive. Clear-eyed realism often seems completely detached, in a different category, utterly, from the language of hope. I think the Hebrew conception of hope may imply just the opposite, that hope is what makes realistic change possible, what keeps us connected, tethered to life, what keeps us from floating into the ether in a hot air balloon of despair and cynicism, what makes resilience possible. Hope is a cord. It is what connects us to the world and to each other. And we are connected to each other. We have been through something significant this year, and we have learned something about what it means to hang on even while we grieve, to imagine a better future even while we try to understand the struggles of the past and present, to doggedly commit to a vision of the world that is better than the one we currently inhabit, even while we recognize our complicity in the problems of the present. On this day, we honor our connection. We honor the work that you have done here. We honor the risks that you have taken. And we honor the way you have challenged us to live up to our own ideals. We are connected. As we part ways today, at least for a while, I want to invite you to come back and see us, to allow us to be involved in the work that you do. Allow us to continue to be part of your story, which sustains us in ways you can't possibly know. When you come back, we will greet you as if a procession of angels passes before you, heralding your return and saying, here is a person of sacred worth who reminds us to make room for imagination, who is a reason to hope. My most sincere congratulations to you. Thank you.
Thank you, Amy, and I just noticed that I only asked for one flyover, so we're getting a few extras in here. As I like to say, now is time for the main event. Would the candidates for the degree of Bachelor of Arts please stand at this time? President Coleman, on behalf of the faculty, it is my honor to present these candidates who have completed the requirements for the degree Bachelor of Arts.
By virtue of the authority vested in me by the Charter of Birmingham Southern College in the state of Alabama, and upon the recommendation of the faculty, I confer upon you the degree of Bachelor of Arts with all the honors, rights, privileges, and responsibilities hereunto appertaining. Congratulations.
Carolyn Hope Adams, cum laude. Abigail Ackard, magna cum laude. Lloyd Wyatt Arp. Avery Malik Banks, distinction in Black Studies. Jameson Bakart. Jada Lenice Bolden. McLean Adele Boone, magna cum laude. Sarah Allie Brinson. Callie Brianna Brown, magna cum laude, Donald C. Harrison Honors Program Senior Scholar. Catherine Manon Burris, cum laude. Aislinn Elise Williams Kane, cum laude. Cordeja Chambers, cum laude. Henry Collier, cum laude. Tell me your name. James Crabb. Michaela Xavier Craig. Mackenzie Brooke Delk. Jackson Hamilton Dominic, magna cum laude. Grace Evelyn Douglas. Mackenzie Nicole Driscoll. David Brock Ennis. Isabella Christine Esmond. Bailey Marie Gardner, magna cum laude. Atchison Parker Hubbard. Margaret Murray Hughes. John Lewis Jacob IV. Cole Allen Kirkpatrick, Distinction in Leadership Studies. Grayson Alexander Latham. Ethan Cade Lay. Hope Martin. Sarah Anna Noel McCarthy, cum laude, Donald C. Harrison Honors Program Senior Scholar. Sarah Trammell McCullough, Donald C. Harrison Honors Program Senior Scholar. Alan Monterrubio, magna cum laude, Phi Beta Kappa. William Charles Morrow, magna cum laude. Colin J. Neal. Bryant Windsor Nelson. Kate Nobles, cum laude. Anna Frances Norris, cum laude. Jalen Reed Prater. Robert Ashton Regard, Jr. Abigail Elise Riggs, cum laude. Mallory Josephine Shiram, magna cum laude. Ethan Schultz. Olivia Seckinger, cum laude. Alexandria Diane Serafri, cum laude, distinction in leadership studies. William Campbell Sheeler, cum laude. John Carter Simmons, cum laude. Rose Marie Simpson, cum laude. Benjamin Stephen Spence, cum laude. Sarah Starbuck. Hope Hamilton Tippett, cum laude, Donald C. Harrison Honors Program Senior Scholar, distinction in leadership studies. Peter Thomas Toland, cum laude, distinction in leadership studies. William Reed Turner. Dominio Javil. Justin Alexander Wright, cum laude. The following degrees are being conferred summa cum laude. I ask that all assembled please rise in honor of this extraordinary academic achievement. Isabella Beelan Alday, summa cum laude, Donald Harrison Honors Program Senior Scholar, Phi Beta Kappa. Elizabeth Cosett Bolt, summa cum laude. Catherine Elizabeth Campbell, summa cum laude. Alexandra Haley Coberly, summa cum laude, Phi Beta Kappa. Josephine Elizabeth Gray, summa cum laude. Cecilia Ann Green, summa cum laude. Emily Kate Hayes, summa cum laude, Donald C. Harrison Honors Program Senior Scholar, Phi Beta Kappa. Anna Sophia Harrington, summa cum laude, Donald C. Harrison Honors Program Senior Scholar, Phi Beta Kappa, and distinction in poverty studies. Jacqueline Ashley Lamars, summa cum laude, Phi Beta Kappa. Sutton Elizabeth Smith, summa cum laude.
You may be seated. Would the candidates for the degree of Bachelor of Fine Arts please stand at this time? A small but mighty group. President Coleman, on behalf of the faculty, it is my honor to present these candidates who have completed all the requirements for the degree of Bachelor of Fine Arts.
By virtue of the authority vested in me by the Charter of the Birmingham Southern College and the State of Alabama, and upon the recommendation of the faculty, I confer upon you the degree of Bachelor of Fine Arts with all the honors, rights, privileges, and responsibilities hereunto appertaining. Congratulations.
Sarah Grace Wilkes, magna cum laude. The following degree is being conferred summa cum laude. I ask that all assembled please rise in honor of this extraordinary academic achievement. Laura Catherine Cohen, summa cum laude.
Would the candidates for the degree of Bachelor of Science please stand at this time? A large and mighty group. President Coleman, on behalf of the faculty, it is my honor to present these candidates who have completed degrees for the requirements of the degree of Bachelor of Science.
By virtue of the authority vested in me by the Charter of Birmingham Southern College and the State of Alabama, and upon the recommendation of the faculty, I confer upon you the degree of Bachelor of Science with all the honors, rights, privileges, and responsibilities hereunto appertaining. Congratulations.
Samuel Christopher Baker Arnold, cum laude. Hannah Lane Barrett. Sydney Marie Barrow, cum laude. Christopher Mason Benner. Daniel Patrick Bennett. Evan Bentley. Nicole Francesca Bernal. Abby Elizabeth Bice. Sarah Ellen Blinn. Isabel Rebecca Bogert, cum laude. Jennifer Lee Bond. James Bruce Bright, Jr. Bethany Grace Bryant, Distinction in Poverty Studies. Mary Morgan Bullock, cum laude. J.D. Thomas Burney III. Victor Hugo Cardenas Perez, cum laude, Distinction in Leadership Studies. Alexis Christina Chambers, magna cum laude. Morgan Ingram Chaperone, cum laude. Nicholas Stephen Cheatwood, magna cum laude. Caitlin Cohoon. Carson Conklin. Austin Thomas Cooper. Garrett Patrick Coyne. Lauren Taylor Craig. Estelle Elizabeth Crawford, cum laude, Distinction in Leadership Studies. Daron S. Dancy. Darona S. Dancy. The A was at the end. Montana Darty, Distinction in Public Health Studies. Matthew Edward Davis. Ella Day, magna cum laude, Distinction in Public Health Studies. John McEver DeLay, magna cum laude. Annie Carol Dial, cum laude. John Paul Dobbs. Amelia Margaret Dodds, cum laude. Andrew Palmer Duffy. Barbara Grace Duggan. Catherine Celeste Dukes, cum laude. Natalie Peyton Dunlay. Patrick Reed Dunn. Savannah Nicole Dye, magna cum laude, Donald C. Harrison Honors Program Senior Scholar. Alexis Eisenberg. Deshandra Renee Ellis. Emily Grace Enoch, cum laude. Caitlin Essman. Rachel Fahad, distinction in public health studies. Aiden Nicole Ford, distinction in leadership studies. Peggy Claire Friday, cum laude. Joshua Michael Galloway, distinction in public health studies. William Christopher Ganaway Jr., magna cum laude. Catherine Ann Glass. Casey Jordan Godwin, magna cum laude. Matt Gonda. Gunnar Mark Grab. Guy Griffiths. Christopher Andrew Hammond, Jr. William Kennedy Hancock, Jr., cum laude. Crystal Hawkins. Lauren Edward Helfenstein, cum laude. Ashton Chatham Henderson, cum laude. Brian Alejandro Heredia. Matthew Kaysen Hyatt. William Hunter Hoffmeister. Jared Hornsby. Madeline Hosick. Aaron Barnett Hutla, magna cum laude. Parker Hunt Jarecki, magna cum laude. Emma Claire Johnson. Austin McDonald Johnston, cum laude. Blakely Jones. Caitlin Lane Jones. Dion Cabanyana. Annabelle Louise Cahaley, magna cum laude. Sadie Keith, cum laude. Mary Jordan Kilgore, magna cum laude. Jin Hyong Kim, magna cum laude. Hilton Robert Kimbrough, cum laude. Mackenzie Kirkham. Anna Catherine Kitchens, magna cum laude. Andrew David Clements. Hunter Counts. Matthew Sawyer Lansdell, cum laude. Samuel Richard Latham III. Clifford James LaCroix. Samantha Jo Lee. Alexis Lee Lindsay. Shelby Lauren Lowry. Chelsea Simone Lucas. Letty Rebecca Lundy. Sarah Elizabeth Matheson, cum laude. Mac Buchanan Malden, Jr. Kindle Ashley Maynard, Distinction in Public Health Studies. Sarah Campbell McAtee. Christopher Riley McClintock, cum laude. Rachel McCormick, cum laude. Hollis Ransom Medley. Rebecca Page Meese, magna cum laude. Leah Alexis Middleton, cum laude. Mark Richard Miller. David Minton, magna cum laude. Samantha Daly Masiskia, magna cum laude. Helen Rhoda Montague, cum laude. Andreas Morales. Catherine Grace Nash. Courtney Grace Nilsson, magna cum laude. Connor O'Sullivan. Trevor Andrew Oakes, magna cum laude. Emma Ray Palmer, cum laude, distinction in poverty studies. Chandler Marshall Pierce. Sarah Lynn Pemberton. Norma Carol Penton. Jessica Lane Hurley, cum laude, distinction in public health studies. Gerald Marie Porter, magna cum laude, distinction in leadership studies. Reed Alexander Potoff, cum laude. Alexis Pratt, magna cum laude, Donald C. Harrison Honors Program Senior Scholar, Phi Beta Kappa. Alice Jordan Pulliam. Matthew Keith Reed, cum laude. Natalie Reagan Roberts, distinction in public health studies. Riley Elizabeth Roberts, cum laude. Mary Elizabeth Ronnie. Zachary C. Crystal N. Sharabat, cum laude. Julia Myron Shoemake, cum laude. Robert Christopher Shuford. Alexandra Shull, magna cum laude. Anne Lewis Simmons. John Kaler Musso Slivka. Christoph Smith, magna cum laude, Phi Beta Kappa. Jill Lindsay Ann Smith, magna cum laude. Riley Drake Smith. Wells Mascolo Smith, cum laude. Lena Cole Spear, magna cum laude. Garrett Nelson Stevens. Max Stone King, magna cum laude. Timothy Blake Sullins. Lily Sumrall. William Fredine Swanson IV. Michael Alexander Sweet. Catherine Grace Taylor, magna cum laude. Kazia Alexia Taylor. Anna Claire Thomas. Crawford Deezern Tyndall. Taylor Trotman. Catherine McCarley Tucker. Robert Dowie Umbach. Zachary Alfred Vinos, cum laude. James Edward Vermillier. Anjali Anil Vera. Tamia Lachey Washington, cum laude. David Carter Watkins. Thomas Cody Watson. Brenton Maxwell Weeks. Andrea Wheelis. Gavin Taylor White. Abby Naomi Williams, magna cum laude, distinction in leadership studies. Brennan Wink. Jacob Thomas Woodard. Alyssa Suzanne Yeager, cum laude. Natalie Yale, cum laude. The following degrees are being conferred summa cum laude. I ask that all assembled please rise in honor of this extraordinary academic achievement. Savannah Elizabeth Busby, summa cum laude, Phi Beta Kappa. Abby K. Choate, summa cum laude. Luke Drummond, summa cum laude. Will Christopher Sanchez Evans, summa cum laude. Madison Maria Foss, summa cum laude. Shannon Adele Gilmore, summa cum laude, Phi Beta Kappa. Congratulations. Congratulations. Patrick Corby Groark, summa cum laude. Hunter Anthony Hayes, summa cum laude. Brianne Louise Kendall, summa cum laude. Robert B. Lively V, summa cum laude. Catherine Elizabeth Lyons, summa cum laude. Chase Garrett Mays, summa cum laude, Phi Beta Kappa, and Chase is being awarded 2 Bachelor of Science degrees today. Marlo Michael McCraney, summa cum laude. Molly Nicole McDaniel, summa cum laude. Rachel Grace McElvey, summa cum laude, Donald C. Harrison Honors Program Senior Scholar, Phi Beta Kappa. Cynthia Lauren Mims, summa cum laude, Donald C. Harrison Honors Program Senior Scholar. Catherine Cian Watcher, summa cum laude. Emily Elizabeth Wise, summa cum laude, Phi Beta Kappa. You may be seated.
Due to circumstances related to COVID-19, which resulted in our moving the 1920 commencement ceremony to August 2020, several students in that graduating class were unable to attend that event, but are with us here today. Although they've already officially graduated, we are honored to bring them to the stage for a well-earned recognition for their efforts. Please note that they will not be receiving a diploma because they already have one.
Elizabeth Julia Groark, Distinction in Public Health Studies. Scott Alexander Pierce.
How about one more round of applause for all the graduates? Graduates, I'd like you to stand at this point. I think it is only appropriate at this point you give a richly deserved round of applause for all the family and friends and faculty and staff who have supported you throughout your academic journey. Clap away. All right, before we get to the next element, remain standing. Make sure your tassel is currently on the right side of your mortar board. In a time-honored tradition and in recognition of your new degree status, you may now move your tassel to its new and proper position on the left side. Congratulations. It's now my pleasure to introduce Her Honor Judge Teresa Pulliam, class of 1980, who brings greetings from the Birmingham Southern College Alumni Association.
Good morning and greetings. President Coleman, Provost Caskey, Chairman Zell, distinguished faculty and family and friends, and most importantly, to the class of 2021. And you may be seated. What a great morning it is on the hilltop. It is with much joy and excitement that I welcome you as alumni of Birmingham Southern College. It is such an honor for me to have been asked to say a few words to you as both a proud BSC and alum and a very proud parent for the last 22 years, especially on today's occasion. Many years ago, and I do mean many years ago, when I was literally sitting where you are now on this beautiful academic quad, I had no idea how valuable my diploma would be to me in both my personal and professional life. I suspect that many of you don't either, not yet. Of course, I knew the college was special, but didn't realize until I entered the real world away from the hilltop that my decision to attend Birmingham Southern College was one of the best decisions that I would ever make. For my BSc diploma is much more than a fancy document nicely framed hanging in my office in the courthouse. A BSc diploma is a life-changing harbinger moving forward in your lives. Good fortune is surely coming your way. Though you will soon physically be leaving the campus of BSC, BSC will never leave you. In fact, you and the college are really just beginning your relationship. You have just joined a very large family of fiercely loyal graduates, so dedicated to the college and to each other and to the student body and residents. Again, welcome to the family. If they haven't already, doors will begin to open for you. New lifelong friendships and relationships will begin, and opportunities, both personally and professionally, will find you at every turn. Now it is your turn to give back to the college that has given you so much. It is a gift that continues to give. In your early years, remember, it is not the amount of a financial gift, but the percentage of those that choose to give. And I'm really talking about the reward you will receive by giving of your time to mentor a student in or out of your field, providing an internship, writing a recommendation, or participating with a class on campus. Above all, you are our new ambassadors for the college. Everywhere I go, I find BSc graduates giving back by making significant contributions in all areas of our community and the world. Whatever the arena, the arts, education, medical, legal, business, finance, religion, or nonprofit, a BSc graduate is there, excelling, usually leading, but always encouraging, questioning, and contributing, always paying it forward. Finally, the college and its family will always be here for you. Keep in touch so that we can share in your accomplishments and in the milestones in your life. And there will be many, because on the hilltop you have been challenged and you are prepared for that good fortune that lies ahead. Keep moving forward, but never too far away from our beloved Birmingham Southern College. Good luck and Godspeed to the class of 2021, and always forward ever. And now on to the champagne. Congratulations.
Before we toast, we sing. Would everyone please rise and join in the singing of our alma mater, which will be led by one of our graduating seniors, Cecilia Green. Cecilia?
On the city's western border, reared against the sky, proudly stands our
I invite you to receive this benediction. May God be in your head and in your thinking. May God be in your eyes and in your seeing. May God be in your mouth and in your speaking. May God be in your heart and in your understanding. May God be in all of your endings and in all of your new beginnings. Amen.